Now you might be thinking, why am I playing Roblox? Well, to be honest, when I was a kid, this platform used to be filled with tons of good, simple games, like Chaos Canyon, King of the Hill, and Sword Fights on Heights. These days, you have games such as Adopt Me, Dress Your Pet. What the f? There's like over 300,000 kids playing this. Well, I mean, I can't bash it too hard. They're learning valuable life lessons on how to be parents. However, there was always one event I looked forward to each year, and that was the Easter egg hunt. I've literally participated in every single egg hunt since 2010. This year, there are a total of 53 eggs. And no, I'm not playing 53 f***ing games. So the first game I played was Red Dead Redemption on PC. Now graphically, it doesn't look the best compared to the Xbox or PlayStation, but the 64 blocky bits are very visual. Apparently, if you pick up $20 on the ground, it automatically makes you a criminal. While on my way to the Temple of Doom, I collected someone's bounty of $1. Whoa, this dude must have done something real bad. Watch out, y'all, he's a real criminal. At the temple, I needed to complete the Wipeout obstacle course in order to get the cracked egg. It's a little weird with the No, are you serious? No! After breaking my spine many times, I finally obtained the cracked egg. The next game I played was Attack on Titan Simulator. The objective was simple: gun down all the Titans. As generals, we couldn't help at the very front lines even though we were 20-foot giants. But what we did do was get more troops on the ground. We were fighting a losing battle of Goliath versus David. Near the end, the Bunny Titan breached our defenses and even phased through our generals, resulting in the failure of the mission. We may have lost the simulated battle, but not the simulated war. The second time, towards the end, the Mecha Titan showed its disfigured face. Unfortunately for him, our forces were able to overwhelm it, and as the general, I was given the highest honor, an egg. The next game I played was Street Life, where I fed King Kong full of holes. Defeating King Kong netted me the AK-47, allowing me to mow down enemies very quickly. In order to obtain the egg, I needed to destroy the Disco Ball pod. With some Half-Life level bunny hopping, I was able to fill the ball full of rapid-fire lead. Disco is dead now. On Adventure Quest, I fought through some angry yellow and purple platypuses before finally meeting the boss. The Bionicle Egg, conjoined by an angry platypus like a Siamese twin. It's a little known fact, but platypuses are only a handful of mammals that actually lay eggs. Anyway, it stood no chance and perished, allowing me to obtain the egg. Next, I went into Hitman Counter-Strike. I honestly didn't know what the f I was doing to get the egg. But after laying waste to the other Hitman, an airdrop containing the egg landed right on my fingertips. In Death Run, I collected lumps of dog dew. Now you might ask why. Because the man with the drill said so. Also because the egg was encased in a pile of 24-karat gold. Who gives a shit about the egg? I'd rather have the gold. After collecting enough of it, the mining process began. Within a few moments, I got the dog dew egg. Well, another man's trash is another man's treasure. In this case, there was trash in the treasure. Next, I set sail across the Atlantic Ocean, rumored to contain the power of dead sailors. The sea needed to claim victims for its bottomless appetite, and I was happy to oblige. My ragtag crew faced the fierce conditions of these strange waters. Unlike most oceans, this part of the sea likes to dry up from time to time, leaving us stuck and unable to travel further. I abandoned my crew and went rogue, blasting all the pirates in my path. After sailing for a few minutes, I found the power I had been looking for, contained in a purple transparent orb. However, the pirates would not give up, determined as they were. I stuck to my wits and moved towards stable land. I landed on an island made of candy. The inhabitants of the island did not have much in the way of a sweet tooth, instead for ripe, crispy flesh. By this time, I became very ravenous with hunger. Luckily for me, some of these hypocrite islanders carried roasted chicken legs. After collecting 5 chicken legs and satisfying my hunger, I left the island with another egg in hand. The next island I washed up upon was known as
Give us your money
Island. Here, workers collected sand-buried poop curls to obey their invisible overlords. I complied with this dirty task and obtained 2 sugar cubes and a statue made from the offering I gave. Wait, that's the egg. Suddenly, I was whisked away to Whoville, because nobody here knows who the they are. To get back to civilization, I needed to collect 3 keys, opening a rift into the space-time continuum. I collected all 3 keys and went through the portal. As it turns out, at the very center of the universe lies a single egg. The age-old question of which came first had been answered. Upon waking up, I had realized I turned into a fish. I flopped around until I realized I needed to find a golden egg. Finding it was the key to freedom and free will. In order to invoke the egg's secret ability, I needed to fry it. To exit out of the nightmare, I fed the egg to the puny razor-toothed god, and was sent through the portal within its mouth. Then I awakened in a field of flowers, where I was met by the 3 blocky Berenstein bears. Before I could leave, each of them had a task for me, which was to get rid of Goldilocks and her chicks. I completed their demands and was given an egg for my effort. With all the excitement, I wanted to return to something normal, so I went to the local amusement park. It was pretty nice. I saw the Green Man group having multiple strokes on a float, and the best part was I got to see it in person. I waited in line thinking it was for the snack bar, but it was actually for a ride. After some nice cinematic camera angle shots ruined by the game's user interface, I rode the best ride in the park, called the monorail. Getting off the ride, I was immediately stuck to the ground and was forced to subscribe to some guy on YouTube. Well, I mean, this is one way to get people to subscribe, somehow. Once I had my fun, I went back home through a magical portal. On the way, I stumbled upon this neat Mr. Krabs backpack in another dimension. I was off to the next adventure. In my neighborhood, everything was a lot more different. I wasn't really sure, but something was off. Oh, I know what it is. Who the f*** are these people in my house? Anyway, on TV, there were reports of homeless men barging into people's houses led by Hobo Larry. I knew they were coming to get my delectable and scrumptious Honeycrisp apples. The next night, I reinforced the home defenses by slapping wood onto the windows. I went to sleep with my bat ready to bash their heads in, or at least to prevent night terrors. Suddenly, the homeless men broke in and tried to attack Kid Cthulhu. Being the hero that I am, I used my special move called the Tatsumaki Bat. After successfully defending my house, the next day a portal opened up in my backyard. Inside, I met the idiot who caused a giant crater to destroy my backyard. After beating him over the head with my bat, it was time to sleep in the basement while estimating household damages. They destroyed my backyard, all for a stupid apple. Inside my dream state, I envisioned my perfect 6-foot self towering among the rest at a festival with people, having heart attacks and a table full of plastic food. I seriously don't even know why I'm taller than the people here. Next thing I knew, we had egg launchers and fired at snakes to obtain the crown serpent jewel. Lastly, this old dude tried to do the Super Bowl shuffle, but he slipped and fell. Through the wooden gates was my next dream. I landed in a relatively peaceful town and talked to this wannabe French nerd with a piece of wood. I was told, in order to get out of this dream sequence, I would need to collect cans of paint scattered across the mostly barren grassland and design an egg for him. Through rain, shine, and graveyard, I collected what he asked and finished painting his egg. What is he gonna do with it anyway? Make an egg sandwich? Regardless, I was sent off with a miniature replica of an egg as a souvenir for the time I spent there. Next, I arrived in an airfield and constructed my very own plane. This is the real way to practice social distancing, above 400 feet in the air. To get out of the dream, I came across a floating plateau. As I later found out, the source and the key to my nightmare were eggs. To escape, I captured the wind-propelled egg and woke up. I made it out of Silent Hill and into another nightmare, known as community service. Here, I honed in on my cleaning skills by vacuuming brown blobs in a park. Next, I helped hose down aspiring and struggling artists for loitering. Lastly, I told a muscular boy that he couldn't work out at this playground past curfew. He didn't like that, so I had to teach him a lesson with my Nerf blaster. It's not Nerf or nothing, they get shot and they die. After putting in all the work for the community, I received a disfigured pin-headed pickle. While walking towards my next destination, I fell into a deep hole with raisins everywhere. To get myself out of this situation, I picked away at the blocks and found a room filled with Alienware air conditioners. In the middle happened to be a shard or a rock. I don't fucking know what it is, but I picked it up anyway. Under the alias of Michael, I was hired as a hitman to take care of a few loose ends at the Gerbil Rights National Restoration Facility. People say assassins should be silent and deadly. I don't need to be silent, I got a knife. One by one, each became the lambs to my slaughter and catalysts to my bloodlust. As a bonus for my contract, one victim even gave me a handcrafted antique egg. Michael doesn't exist. He never did. A large amount of money appeared in my account. With the money, I was finally able to move and adopt a pet within the same day. As I moved in, I found out this neighborhood worshipped a large green Furby, and the only way to appease it was to give it flowers every day. I mean, it could have been worse. You could have had gremlins. I didn't want 2 extra responsibilities, so I decided to move again, but not until after I satisfied the Furby's demands. The next place I thought of was to live in the mountains, since most people don't want to live there. But I was wrong. Instead of people, robots did. This neighborhood was much worse. I had to break open rocks for a living, while under constant attack of these mechanical beings. Due to the amount of times I was moving, I had no money left to go elsewhere. I was living the college lifestyle. As it turns out, the market here pays a good amount for eggs due to the season. After collecting all the eggs and watching the robots stand around in the Coliseum, I got paid an egg in return. With my remaining savings, I spent it all on wood planks and frames for a boat. Hey, don't laugh. This is a nice piece of driftwood. I had the power of anime and Gandalf on my side. I don't need a fancy boat. I situated my egg I got and took off downstream. With the power of Gandalf, I was pretty sure we were allowed to pass without any trouble. Towards the end, a huge flying lizard picked me up and threw me into a castle. My money troubles were over. I found someone's, or rather, my secret stash. After being blessed with my new fortune, I happened to come across an inhabited island. Suddenly, a giant cyclops named Unicron appeared and attacked all the natives. Although we suffered casualties, it was worth it to obtain the treasures of this mythological creature. I washed up upon the shore to realize my skin had turned blue, probably due to the chemicals and toxic waste. I had become Aquaman, or at least a man with blue skin. As Aquaman, I could breathe underwater for 30 seconds like most people. Under the sea, there were no sponges or bobs, rather garbage that people threw out. Anyway, on land, I met Captain Phillips, who wanted me to retrieve Cthulhu's egg. Forget the old man, I want a mini squid of my own. My next job involved being an aquatic hitman. Apparently a shark had stolen the client's key to a vault. I armed myself with weapons and a crew to fight it head on. In an instant, the shark capsized our ship. My crew had been reduced to dead fish in the water. As the remaining survivor of the SS Sharkbait, I swam towards a ring buoy, conveniently attached to the shark's fin. I've always wanted to ride on a shark, even if it's not exactly a horse and carriage. After getting the key, I opened the vault and obtained the client's prized jewel, a shark head served on a blue platter. After almost sleeping with the fishes, my next mission was a heist, but not just any heist. It was a competition between other hired mercenaries. The mission was simple. Go in, grab the valuables, and get out alive. This separated the men from the boys, or turned boys into real men. Next, I was hired to go undercover on a football team, where the client wanted me to obtain the electromagnetic egg to make his purple omelet. Too bad they weren't green eggs, otherwise it would go well with ham. A Sam I am not, but an egg cracker for sure. I came across my next job as part of the Water Nation. It turns out there had been a huge disagreement between the four nations that a war broke out. Everything used to be so peaceful until the Fire Nation attacked. As a result, the Fire Nation had to suffer the most casualties out of this war. Their actions contributing to the meme were truly unforgivable. As payment, I received a mutant hamster. Thanks, Water Nation. Very cool. Lastly, I was summoned by a weird Iron Man cosplayer for a mission. He asked me to slay a legendary monster. Inside the pale plastic doors held the one-legged Play-Doh giant named Graygon. For some reason, it kept humping the ground until it sprouted colors. Ah, I see. That's how you get Play-Doh to activate. After pummeling and flipping the giant over, I received a badge. Traveling around the city, there were tons of eggs littered everywhere. I thought there weren't supposed to be any mass gatherings. In the mass scramble, I was able to gather part of the remaining eggs. While in the city, I stumbled across a weird building when the door suddenly slammed shut behind me. Desperately, I tried to find a way out since it was very eerie. With a key in hand, I bolted towards the door. Nearing the exit, Doodlebob showed itself with its gibberish and blocked the way out. Luckily, there was another exit through an egg. I just had to jump over more lasers. I was transported into a land full of flying lizards. Gravity was also changed. I could now walk on thin air. This world was full of strange creatures like these hungry, deformed hippos. Anyway, you know the drill by now. In order to get out, I needed to obtain an egg. I went into a temple to fix the plumbing and finally confronted
Big Chungus.
Luckily, he kinda just sat there like a dying seal flopping all over the place. I gave the eggs to Birtle the pink Yoshi and got a relic in return. Next, it was time to summon and stop the ancient chicken men. In order to summon them, I needed to collect 5 eggs and put each of them on a pedestal. After doing so, I was warped into another universe and met the head of the chicken men tribe, known as KFC. Unfortunately, they were too powerful with their clucking, pecking, and cooing. In a coma state, I found myself in a heaven-like area. I knew it was not my time because a sign on a door said so. Anyway, it said something about keys, but who cares? I grabbed the egg to freedom and immediately woke up at a ski resort. At the resort, I decided to enter a contest where the winner would receive an antique egg. I skied down all 11 ramps and won myself the coveted egg. Although there was no competition, my board was on fire since I destroyed the course. On my journey back home, I encountered a mass gathering of cult members. Remember, only you can prevent the destruction of our forests, so don't litter. Do the parkour. Almost got it. Fuck! Alright, I got this. Wait, why does it respond? I don't even got enough time to do it. You see that? Even death has a price, and it's 35 Robux. I can cheat too, you f***ing game. Along the way, I met a rabid dog that needed to be put down. Why do kids even play this? With my earnings, I bought a new car and decided to test it out at the racetrack. While at the track, I entered a drag race. It had decent mileage. Ignore the smoke though, that's just special effects. Well, at least I didn't end up in last place. At home, I played an intense game of Clue where the culprit murdered in real time. As it turns out, Nigel, the culprit, was blind and oblivious to the fact I was hiding in a weird-looking tree. In the next round of Clue, I did the only thing I could do that worked, which was hide in a tree and wait it out. As the new champion of Family Game Night, I received a prize. Next, I played Final Fantasy XVI. Now, it might not look impressive, but I like where they were going with this blocky aesthetic. Hey y'all, welcome to Cooking with Froggys. Today I'm gonna teach you how to make eggs 3 ways. But first, a public service announcement. You see this? This is the face of a weirdo. Don't be one. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now the first method is stuffing. We must gather leftovers and stick it into the egg. Second, in order to fry an egg, we must start a campfire and toss it in directly when the fire is hot enough. You will know when it's done when the timer called camping is highlighted. Lastly is poaching. Surprisingly, many people don't know how to poach an egg. It's real simple. If you don't got a pot or a pan, just use your shower. It works the same as an incubator. And there you go, guys. Shit is served. Well, that was a very long narration. There were a few games I didn't comment on due to how difficult they were to piece together, but anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this Pokemon journey of me getting all 52 badges. I mean, the eggs were obviously just an incentive. So with that, take care of yourselves, remember to wash your face, and until the next adventure, see you guys.